In the year of our Lord 2024, we now live in a society where video games aren't meant to entertain you or allow you to escape into a fantasy world. They're actually meant to educate you on the correct and incorrect ways on apologizing for misgendering people. Hi y'all, SnarkyJay cosplay here. I don't talk about video games on this channel very often, but this story has been consistently popping up on my Twitter feed for a few days now, and admittedly, I took the bait, I checked it out, because so many people have been giving the new Dragon Age game these terrible reviews, ranting about it on Twitter, and of course, as usually happens with these things, right? We saw it with the Acolyte and literally anything else that's come out in the past 2 or 3 years. We have the crowd that goes and destroys it on the internet, and then the people that claim that it's really not that bad, it's just conservatives, misogynists, bigots, homophobes, what have you, review bombing said thing. And the one thing that keeps coming up is a 2-minute video, and I'm gonna play you a piece of it in just a moment, but essentially the gist is that in conversation, a character refers to another character by she, her, as opposed to they, them, which are the pronouns used by this non-binary character. And so this character then feels compelled to get up and do 10 push-ups, and then proceeds to elaborate on the correct and incorrect ways of apologizing for misgendering a person. Let's check it out.
Snake's nose. She's still holding the ruby in her other hand. Maker's panties. I was so proud.
Oh,
Ah, shit. They're still holding it. Sorry.
What are you doing?
Pulling a barv.
Oh, okay.
a barv?
Tradition in the Lords of Fortune, from one of our old members, Barv. There's not always time for big, drawn-out apologies. So, when one of us screws up and we know we've screwed up, we do a quick 10 to put it right. Pulling a Barv.
So okay, for a simple mistake now requires you to go and do 10 push-ups, because some guy used to do that. Why though?
Tarsh isn't the first non-binary member of the Lords.
Really?
It was a little before your time, but Horlicks was one of ours.
Huh.
Bastard looked better than I did in a dress or pants. And out of them too.
Any reason you can't just apologise?
Sometimes people say, oops, sorry, and hope that fixes it. But they just want to get the whole thing over with. Trust me, I know.
Isn't saying oops, sorry typically the way you move on? I mean, they want to get the whole thing over with. Yes, as in I've just made a mistake, I've apologized for how it's affected you. Can we move on now with whatever it was that was happening?
But pulling a barv, you sweat a little. Makes you think about it a little more. Shows the other person you mean it.
What if they mean it when they say they're sorry, though?
And that's the other reason. Some people mess up and get all dramatic. They make it about them. Oh, you know, I didn't mean it right. I'd never do that on purpose. They feel so bad about it that it's on everyone else to smooth it over and make them feel better.
Oh, okay, yes, some people might do that.
Pulling a barv puts it on the person who screwed up. They made the mess, they fix it, done.
Okay, so let me see if I understand this. So if you just say, oops, I'm sorry, that's not enough because you're trying to brush it under the rug and you're doing too much. But if you say, oops, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean that, you know, I never do that on purpose, and you try to elaborate and be extra polite to make this person feel comfortable, now essentially what you're doing is making it about you. And now it's up to everybody else to make you feel comfortable when technically that's what's being done to the person apologizing, because now they have to figure out how to make the other person comfortable because their apology isn't sufficient. So now the correct thing is to get up and do 10 f***ing push-ups. Look, this is not a question of including or not including binary, non-binary characters. Honestly, I couldn't give a shit less. I don't care that this character is non-binary. What I care about is this odd lecturing that feels completely out of place for a fantasy game, and you can tell 100% is coming from some creative writer's self-insert conversation where they felt like somebody misgendered me once and I wanted to make them do push-ups for it. That is 100% what this is. It's one of those bullshit 4chan Reddit stories where they add, and everybody clapped at the end. That is exactly what this is. This is somebody's creative writing, self-insert bullshit that somehow made it into a multi-million-dollar production of a game. Your apology can't be too minuscule because how dare you brush this issue under the rug, but if it's too big, then you're making it all about you. Now the correct thing is to go do push-ups. Let me tell you something about apologizing. I dated a guy for 7 months. He knew I was half Puerto Rican, and yet in conversation once he referred to me as Peruvian. And I told him, I'm not Peruvian, I'm half Puerto Rican. And he said, I'm pretty sure you said Peruvian. And I said, I'm pretty sure I know where the I'm from. He said, sorry, you think I got up and told that motherfucker to drop and give me 20? No! Why is it that we now live in a world where you have to be punished if your apology is somehow too sufficient or insufficient, and now that's in a game? It is a level of nonsense, of narcissism, of self-insertionist bullshit that to me is astounding. Again, the sexuality, gender politics, whatever, that's not what this is about. I want everybody to feel comfortable in their own skin. I'm unbothered by that. What I'm bothered by is this lecturing bullshit. We use these games to escape into fantasies so that we don't have to listen to these lectures about bullshit and politics and finances and taxes and all the things that normally drive us nuts on a day-to-day. That is why we pick up a controller, so that we can escape. Even in a game, we have to be lectured, we have to be taught, we have to be corrected. Quite frankly, there's no escape and there is no point to play these games. Now, I can understand. This is, what, a 2-minute bit out of a game that presumably is well over 50 hours, just campaign alone, I'm sure. So, is this that big a deal in the grand scheme of the game? No. But don't add in these portions of lectures that really have no place being in the game. A 2.5-minute lecture on how to properly apologize, to me, is not part of a fantasy world that I personally want to participate in. I think this is absolutely insane, and I don't know where we're going with any of this anymore. And that's all from me. I've been SnarkyJay. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more SnarkyJay. Be sure to check me out on Instagram, and if you'd like to support me, this channel, and my content creation, do check out and consider subscribing to my Patreon for exclusive photo shoot sets and cosplay content. I will add links to all of those in the description below. And let me know your thoughts on the non-binary issue of Dragon Age in the comments below.